adventurous 2022 Kia Soul that has the perfect balance of comfort, style, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Soul with $2,165 per month per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Quality is limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/22.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. Like in Austria, where generations work side by side to build sustainable housing and community centers. In India, volunteers run a mobile blood bank to help provide a steady blood supply for their local community. And in Taiwan, people are working hard to get vulnerable citizens the support and services they need. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. Take action with us. Find out more at rotary.org/action.
Atlanta Braves play here. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are live after a beautiful 3-day weekend. Is it blaring for you? A little too loud, man. We've got an all-star cast in the building. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, also 102.1 FM in the Mariana area. You can catch us on Blab TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all of the above. And today is a blast from the past, man. We have got such a great show on tap for you guys today. Your Minute with Max coming up in the next segment. Dr. Tom will be with us at 4:30. But for now and the rest of the show, I'm so excited. We've got the coach's daughter back in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Leanne Schwarzentrooper. What's going on, LA?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but I'm glad to be here.
No doubt.
Super glad to be here.
Also a member of Team MVP, powered by EXP. We've got Chuck Sowers in the building. Chuck, what's going on, my man?
Hello.
Hey. Yes, great to have you back. A lot of things happening with the Pac-12, Big Ten, college football as a whole. Can't wait to unpack those things, see how we all feel about it. What's the future of college football? Is it dead? Is it more alive than it's ever been?
Yes.
We'll find out when we get to that. I think 5 o'clock we'll dive headfirst into some college football. Also a great, Chuck wasn't at the Great American Ballpark not too long ago, so we'll definitely find out about how his trip went. Max, what's going on, my man?
You look a little sunburned, Max.
I got a little sun this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. So what'd you end up doing? Let's learn about everybody's weekends real quick.
I was out at Shell Island on Sunday, and then out on Graydon Beach yesterday. So
that is Leanne's peaceful position.
It's my happy place, and
Which
I
one?
haven't been there in a while.
Shell Island.
The island.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did get the boat working again.
The boat's running.
From the squirrels, yeah.
I do got one
Round
bone
two.
to pick with Cecil. He's been hating on his Orioles, and they've been playing amazing for the Baltimore Orioles.
But when you say it like that,
I mean, they're 6.5 games out of a wild card spot right now.
right now.
Well, yeah, that's the caveat. Yes,
You know
absolutely.
what happens by the time you get to the end,
Right.
right? They're like at the bottom.
That's true, but the beauty of it is just how amazing, how tough a division that is, first and foremost, the American League East. You know, a lot of talk has been made about the National League West and how deep they've been. When you look at those numbers coming out of the American League East, it's ridiculous. And the fact that the Baltimore Orioles are in a position like they are right now, had the best month that they've had, I think, since 2017 for June. So, hey, good on them, and let's hope for them to keep it rolling.
It's that future or former number 1 pick from Oregon State.
There you go, man. Hey, we gotta have our ties. Leanne, how was your weekend?
It was good. We had hoped to go out in the boat, but the storms kept coming in, you know, and that's, I don't ever like to take a chance, especially when it's going to be crowded like that if the water's rough. But basically, us 50-plus age people.
I thought you were saying you had 50-plus people. Like, well, you wasn't fitting that on the boat anyways.
No, capacity is 8 folks, that's it. No, just all of us 50 and up people just acting like we were 21.
There you go.
And a lot of pool time, and that is swimming pool time, and a lot of cooking and eating and music and having a lot of fun.
There you go, man. Celebrating the independence. Thankful for our soldiers and those who. Big example right here in front of us. And Chuck, and got a story later on today at 5:45 dealing with the Coast Guard and an amazing feat by a captain to wow, 14-mile swimming in 7 hours. How many, as a Coast Guard guy, how many of these situations happen like this? I mean, this is wild.
It really depends where you're at. If that happens in Alaska, we're just recovering bodies. Here, water's a little warmer, little chance of survival's a lot better than up north and all that area.
That's a long way, though. I mean, you've got to be, I mean, you have professional swimmers that don't get out of situations like that. I mean, you know, that can. So, I mean, maybe he just had a little extra help.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better that it was dark, or, you know what I mean? Because
how could he know which direction he was going?
Not only that, but how many sharks, big fish, passed by him and was like, you're not my blood type.
Yeah, and he didn't see him, so he was
that's what I was getting at, because the mind over matter type deal.
For sure.
Oh, I
panicked.
Me too. That is bizarre, but I'm so glad it ended well.
Yeah, no doubt. Big shout out to the Coast Guard there. Chuck, how was your weekend, my man?
It was good. It's been in Ohio. And went to Cincinnati for a ball game and Cleveland for a ball game.
Oh, how was?
Oh, you went to 2?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that.
I'm there.
We're breaking news here.
I know. But let him tell you why, because he's not a fan of either team. So
I'm trying to go to every major league ballpark. I've got 6 left. Got both New York's, Detroit, and Toronto, and Texas.
Of those 6 ballparks, which one? Like, if you knew you could only make one more.
Oh, Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium, you gotta get there. I've got a little thing that my fiance got us, I guess, technically for Christmas a few years back, where it's like a scratch-off thing, and it's got all the stadiums on there. So I envy you, because that is definitely something I look forward to doing.
There's some good ones.
But yeah, so which one out of Great American Ballpark, Guardians? Which ambiance? Oh, yeah?
Cleveland. Yeah, Cincinnati. It's about 95 degrees, no wind, miserably hot.
That is bad.
You go up to Cleveland, it was 80 degrees, cool breeze, much better, and the Yankees were playing. So.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
But they did play Cincinnati played the Braves, so that was kind of cool to see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you were at the Sunday game then, I'd imagine?
I was at the Friday game for Cincinnati.
Okay, Friday game. So good stuff there. We got a Braves win out of that one.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
How about the hot dog eating competition yesterday? Joey Chestnut, and the star of the show wasn't even a part of the show. A guy shows up in a Darth Vader mask, not a max, a Darth Vader mask, and he's got a sign that says, a lot of people have been photoshopping it, saying the Cowboys, this is our year, but it was actually, what was it, Smithfield's Death Star or something like that. And so from the articles I've read, I guess it was some type of protest against the Smithfield Ham Company in Virginia. I'm not really sure how all of this plays out. But how about Joey Chestnut, though? Not only getting 63 hot dogs down in a fashion that is just, it makes you not want to eat hot dogs anymore.
Now you know that's why I don't eat hot dogs.
Really? Just because of the competition, though?
No, but that's just see how gross they are?
it's not that. I think the worst part for me is you're dunking
it in the
a hot dog bun in water.
That just
No, thank you.
Dip it in some mustard or some ketchup or something. Let's see that flying. Let's get that all over Jason Fitz in the splash zone at that point in time. But no, I thought it was pretty. I mean, he put the guy in a neat headlock.
He did not play around.
How long has he been on the circuit doing this? This is a long time, right?
This is his 15th title, 7th title in a row. The dude was on a bum leg as well, showed up in crutches, and he's still knocking people out. Knocking dogs out? Not the animal. This is not a great day to talk about knocking dogs out. We're on the cusp of the anniversary for you.
It is the anniversary when the search began, and I've been thinking about it all day for those 8 days I stayed in the woods looking for a dog.
Yeah, I saw Reed posting on Facebook and even like kind of reposting again today with so many dogs out there get lost. Keep your dog on a leash.
They get scared. They're
very
out.
easily.
Yeah, they bolt. They don't. It just terrifies them. Some dogs.
Most of them, though, right? Why do y'all think that is? Is there a scientific explanation? Is it because their hearing is so much better than ours and those noises just sound amplified to them?
I just think anything, if you're not used to it, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's so sudden, and it is loud. But, I mean, now Samson, he didn't even know what was going on. He just sleeps all the time now. He's living the good life. But I talked to the lady from Lucky Puppy Rescue, and she said, she says, we were back out there. Yeah. She says so many this weekend. It's the biggest, of all the year. Mm-hmm. More animals, pets go missing or get lost over July 4th period because of the fireworks than any other time of the year.
Yeah, my brother's dog, Chipper, when he's inside, it doesn't seem to faze him at all. Take one step outside and a bottle rocket might not even pop. Just whistle. Just whistle. And dude is like, get me in this house and get me in there now. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, okay, well, go in the house. So now, we've got a great method. If he does start acting up or anything, hey, we're going to, pow, get in the house.
A little pop gun, a little cat
Yeah,
gun.
there you go. Or we could just use some products from Damsel in Distress with it. Oh, it's so great having Leanne back in the studio. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Listen to 104.3 FM, also 102.1 FM in the Mariana area. Big news out of and another favorite team of yours in the sports world, talking about the NHL here at San Jose Sharks, have made a huge hire. Mike Greer as the first black general manager in NHL history. This is now the last of the 4 leagues to have a black general manager. So kudos to them. I don't think that this is just some type of a PR move at all. This guy was a heck of a player himself, played for 14 years, 3-year stint with the Sharks. After he retired, he worked as a scout for the Chicago Blackhawks, also an assistant coach with the New Jersey Devils, and more recently, he was a hockey operations advisor with the New York Rangers. So good on the San Jose Sharks. In the world of the NBA right now, for my video game players out there, Michael Jordan. And this, I don't know why it's so surprising to a lot of people. Maybe it's because LeBron James dons the number 23. So you've got your two sides right there, A lot of people are like, well, why not LeBron? Who embodies the champion more?
Who is the GOAT?
Exactly. And this
right.
is
So why would you pick LeBron?
Oh, here we go.
Don't
Here we
even
go.
Start, Chuck.
So you're more on the LeBron side of things.
He's won every week he's gone. How can you not?
I mean, he's amazing. I mean, but Michael Jordan, to me, is the GOAT because he transformed the level of play in the into basketball in general. I mean, he really did. Before him, it was more of the old school and the, passing and all the basic stuff. And then when he just started flying through the air from the free throw line, and it changed.
So actually, the other day I was sitting back and I was waiting on the Saturday, the last day of the Live Golf Tour to start, and they show that on YouTube or also livegolf.com. So I was waiting on that, so I'm scrolling through YouTube, and I'm like, I want to watch old basketball right now. So I turn on 95, Magic versus the Rockets, NBA Finals. I forget which game it was. a lot of people want to say, oh, it's changed so much. And yes, it has. But I think a lot of that is that Mandela effect. You know what I mean? Like, they were still kicking the ball outside. They weren't shooting as well as what they do today from the outside. And there were still some pity-pat fouls where it's like, this makes it unwatchable. Let's stop, swallow the whistle a little bit in basketball. Let's let the guys play and let's have some fun. But it was amazing to me to go back to a time where I was basically 4 years old. And all right, a lot of people harp on how, soft the league is these days, and I don't think that they're as correct as they want to remember.
I can agree with that completely. I think, though, the game sped up. Maybe that's a better way to put it, because the things you look at, Steph Curry, who, he's my favorite. He's gonna take over Michael Jordan's spot in my mind at some point. But in my mind, I said, just for me.
No, but I mean, there's not. You're not going to get a ton of pushback from that. But also, Steph Curry doesn't go around parading himself as.
No, he's humble. Yeah. He's more humble. Yeah.
He doesn't have the brand.
That's also
that's true. But
Jordan's more of a brand now.
And that
player,
was the beginning of when that took off so much too, with the branding and the endorsements. We had Bird and Magic and all those guys and Jordan. But I think with Michael Jordan, though, I mean, he won. I mean, he holds so many records, or he just never gave. He was such an intense competitor. I mean, it's crazy. But now I think their players are so talented.
Didn't need to buy his team.
That's like
Although
the go-to
Pippen never got
argument,
the love
too.
he thought he deserved, right?
I will say the one respectable LeBron ring was the game set. Was it Game 7? Yeah, that Kyrie hit the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't take away from what LeBron has done, though, and at the level that he's continuously playing at. How many guys would kill to have that athleticism
especially
that he
with
has?
That body build, because I know they list him at like 250, but he's more like 280. That's what he was listed at originally. Like he is. I mean, I'm obviously biased because I'm from Chicago, so it's going to be Jordan for me. But I mean, it's a pretty clear-cut 1 and 2 for me. Yeah.
I think the other reason, and my mom, Coach Walker, just reminded me of this. She said LeBron is a whiner. And he is. I think now players in this day and time, they complain way more. They're such prima donnas, and that's what drives me crazy. I hate that.
It's the generation of entitlement. You know what I mean? Yeah. And especially for those guys. But like, you look at a guy like Luka Doncic, right? And everybody is just all over. Luka's so good. He might cry more than LeBron does.
Especially when he thinks that he was fouled.
I just wish that we had more like humorous players and guys who would just laugh at it and move on rather than sit there and the whole time that the guy is taking it down for their own possession, you're sitting there worried about what the ref thinks. Come on, that guy is not even thinking about that now because he's got to watch what's going on now.
He must be not the best teammate either, because Brunson didn't even he didn't have any talks with the Mavs about re-signing. He just
which is kind of wild too. And then you go to the Knicks, it's like, what does your future look like now? You know what I mean? Well, $111 million richer, I guess that's about what it is.
Welcome to the cellar.
Welcome to the cellar. Oh, man. All right. Coming up next here in Your Minute with Max, we're going to talk about what he thinks KD, what we all think about what's going to be next for KD, a little USC, UCLA action, and much, much more on Your Minute with Max. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be back in a few.
It's the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida 5-year flyaway. Thanks for making our first 5 years as the Gulf Coast home for sports so successful. Now it's our turn to send you on a wild trip. Keep listening for details on how you can win the 5-year flyaway to see the Atlanta Braves.
Strike 3, Braves win it.
From ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather forecast overnight, scattered clouds, any precip bending, 75 to 80 for the low, light southwest winds. Spotty showers of thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny near 90 each day, and light southwest winds. This pattern's going to continue into Friday. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Chuck was terrible at fishing. He spent many frustrating hours attempting to get results he saw from internet videos, aggravating trial and error fishing trips, and misguided advice from well-intended friends. Chuck is happy now with his newfound success after he visited Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, where we keep fishing fun, simple, and successful. See us soon at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. Starting Monday, July 11th. Listen weekday mornings to Coach Hale at 8:15 and the Afternoon Underdogs at 4:45 to win a prize pack and get qualified for the 5-year flyaway. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back inside of the Rib Crib Radio Room. This is your Minute with Max Delight. And my man, what's going on? Tell me about the latest and greatest things happening with PRG.
Yeah, there were almost 400 cars at the mall yesterday, which was pretty cool for the meet and greet.
It almost looked like we had them all there again.
Yeah, I know. They got to bring it back.
It looked like shoppers were back.
Right? I miss seeing that place packed out and the food court.
It's a shame, actually.
It really is.
It's going to come back, right? No.
I think they're turning it into like housing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right?
There's apartments going to be
Right.
built there.
And they're going to keep the Dillards open, I guess, on the other side.
I mean, that would be great for
turn the mall into apartments or build some apartments there.
I think scrape that whole lot.
Oh,
Just keep the Dillards.
Keep the Dillards.
And then you just got the two walls there. Yeah, there will be some people upset about
That's where I got
Dillards
my
if it
Hey
goes.
Dudes. That's the only reason I know it's open.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, so we have Ribs and Rides on the 21st, third Thursday of the month. And otherwise, that's the only stuff we really have going on right now. We're actually opening on 15th Street, though, on the 15th.
15th, that's right. Grand
For
opening.
Where
Rib
Rathfields used to
Crib
be, yes.
or Slim Chicks? Okay.
Yeah, so right where Rathfields was for a little bit, that's where the other Rib Crib is going to be.
nice.
So that's going to be
a little more
exciting.
accessible, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For
good.
people.
I'm excited about that. So June 21st, Ribs and Rides, third Thursday, and then June 15th, grand opening for Rib Crib. Spirit nights and stuff like that, or a little slow right now because no schools in.
Now, yeah.
All
Hopefully
right.
we'll have some football stuff geared up for August. So
Well, let's talk.
Be here before you know it.
I know.
I know, man. But this is, thankfully, this is our last month without college football. So, and you know, the news is going to start ramping up. Free agency in the NFL's kind of tapered off a little bit.
Yeah,
but, you know, we just got to get through. If you love baseball, this is still a good month. If you don't, you just get to take a week off or a month off from sports and just wait till they come
There's no
back.
such thing as taking a month off from sports.
For some folks, there is. Especially when you know what I mean? I hate it that America's pastime gets the knock that it does. But it just is what it is type thing, you know? Some people, I'm still so surprised week in and week out, especially when the Stanley Cup playoffs are going, that hockey doesn't get, you know what I mean? The notoriety or attention that I think it deserves, because it's a sport that encompasses all sports and you can legally fight in it.
I know that's
Your only
why
punishment's
you
2 minutes.
Right, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about Kevin Durant here. What do you think happens with KD? Does he end up in Chicago with the Bulls? It looks like it's pretty much a 3-horse race. Really, Miami and Phoenix leading the way. Boston maybe has entered the sweepstakes.
Yeah. Well, I can't even imagine how that locker room was before the end of the season with Kyrie, KD, and Ben Simmons. Like, you don't get more of a toxic locker room than that. There's a lot of egos there.
Really, and KD is like one of
KD
those.
Is so good, but
he is so good, but his ego, well, his personality is almost like I'm one way to your face, and then another way behind my burner account.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But same with Kyrie too, because he should be like a top 3 or 4 point guard, shooting guard in the league, and he just always is hurt, always is making something about himself. But,
right.
Ben Simmons.
That's why he's a bigger whiner. That's why LeBron, he will build the team.
Yeah.
He just go get his own.
He'll build it and then break it down.
But I still think he's going to go to the Suns, even though they're the favorite, I think, on paper right now. But it would have to be something along the lines of like a DeAndre Ayton sign and trade, Mikal Bridges, and then, I don't know, probably 3 first-round picks.
Picks don't mean anything.
Yeah, especially if you're the Suns and you should be winning if you get that.
And that's a great point. But how about Rudy Gobert with that whole trade? I mean, who would have thought that he was worth those kind of picks and stuff?
That's Denver for you. It's just bad organization.
He spent some time out there.
Right, but I mean, yeah. Hey, man, wow, that's
What about KD to the Jazz?
Yeah, but who would they? Who do they have to offer?
Who knows? Danny Ainge is there. He's built Boston.
Yeah. I think that would be a good tandem. I think that Donovan Mitchell would absolutely love that over Gobert. You know what I mean? Because all the pressure.
Have to move in that deal.
You think Donovan would have to go? Yeah.
Because who else do they have?
Yeah.
Outside of just lining them up with first-round picks for the next 6, if they even have that, who knows what their pick situation is at? Because that's going to be the biggest, not just problem, but the biggest part of this whole thing is what will the team be able to do? What can they send to Brooklyn to make them feel better about losing KD?
Would he go back to Golden State?
Man.
That's what I would
you
love
think he could humble himself and say, hey, I made a mistake. Sorry, guys.
Draymond was right.
Yeah.
Draymond was right.
He could, but then like Chuck said, even if they say okay and he comes back, then he'll be unhappy the next year.
Yeah.
It's like
he can't win on his own. He's like coming back to the.
Well, that's why he needs those guys, Golden State.
Would LeBron like the fact that KD does that because it kind of makes KD at that point even more so enemy number one? Like the people will talk less about LeBron at that point in time and be like, hey, he's still trying to do it with street clothes and the rest of the guys over there, but KD's just walking back into it, coming off of the defending champ. How about Carmelo Anthony signing with them though, with the Golden State Warriors? I mean, maybe this is. Hey, I'd love to see him get a ring.
Exactly, he's just chasing a ring.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
We'll see if he's on the roster at the start of the season.
That's a great point. But they did lose Gary Payton, I believe, to the Blazers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that does open up some room. Yeah. Who do you root for? Is it the Lakers? Is it LeBron?
I'm a Blazer fan. So, yeah.
Oh.
I know
that's a good pickup. I like Gary Payton.
Yeah, KD to the Blazers there was talk of that as well, but I'm sure they don't have the trade assets for him.
Ah, man, that would be tough because
Could you make him and Dame Lillard together?
Dude,
that'd be pretty sweet.
That would be. I think it would be great for the league though, because it
Lillard deserves that too, though. He's been stuck. McCollum is like
same with Chris Paul.
version of him. Yeah.
There's been talks of. You don't like that?
I don't like Chris Paul.
Huh? What is it about him that you don't like?
But he just doesn't show up in the playoffs. He does not show up. He's great regular season, then he always gets hurt.
Yeah.
At some point, he should just sit out till mid-season and then play.
That's what I say about, and I know I'm going to a totally different sport here, but Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins, their best days are behind them. If you save guys like that till week 10 or so like that, and then let weeks 10 through 14 be their preseason, then you might have a healthy guy heading into the postseason if you make it that far.
Absolutely.
That Mavs series, though, was like inexcusable for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And same with Devin Booker, too, though. He didn't get enough kind of hate his way because he just disappeared.
Right.
I wonder how much of D-Book wasn't injured in that series, was he?
No.
I don't think so.
No, because it was Chris Paul who had gotten injured earlier in the playoffs, and Devin Booker who kind of helped them.
Booker missed like 2 games. The first series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got dinged up a little bit.
Man. I do think that the NBA landscape is just going to be wild next year again. Why is it that the offseason in the NBA is so much better than the regular season?
the drama.
Because these players have so much flexibility. You know,
the brands. You keep bringing up the brands.
NFL, you don't give up number one picks very often. I mean, a little more now these days, but you didn't used to. NBA just hands them out because they mean nothing anymore.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the college that I could say that's a number one pick. You know, hold on to that pick.
Right.
You
well,
know?
like the whole Zion thing.
Yeah.
Case in point. I don't know if you remember this. We were sitting here, and Old School was sitting right there, and it was before the draft, and he was just talking about the immense pressure on these young kids that are in the spotlight, you know, as the potential number one pick. And he said, I'll be real interested to see if he's a bust. He said, and we all sort of talked about that and thought that might end up happening. The hype was so up here, you know, and then I know he got hurt, but he's not the type to push himself through anything either.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. He's pushing himself into great contracts. So,
while he just, plays when he can.
Like, how messed up is that of the Pelicans? Like, or not messed up of them, but you got to do better, right? You're running an NBA franchise, and you got a guy who's played 85 games in 3 years. What would have you liked to see the Pelicans do?
Man, I don't know. I don't hate it because I do still believe in Zion. I think he's going to get his act together. I mean, he's only, 20, 21 now?
Yeah. Good point.
Because he can be, obviously. He's proven that he was a dominant player when he played. And the Pelicans kind of have a unique culture going right now. So, I don't know. I kind of like the signing for them.
I hope he does. I mean, I really would love to see him do well. It's just interesting how you just build up, and a lot of times it just fizzle out.
He's already playing for his next contract, so he'll play well the next couple of years, and then just like Anthony Davis will say, I want out. You guys haven't done anything for me.
Yeah.
It's
Get
all
AD
about
to
money.
the Blazers.
Yeah.
I would love to see Damian Lillard just have someone that's a competent big man.
But he needs somebody for
What about KD to the Lakers?
What would they have to give up then, though? AD and...
Yeah, AD, Westbrook, take them both.
Westbrook.
So much money on the books at that point then for the Lakers to play with.
Westbrook, obviously, we saw that show. That was terrible.
He's hilarious, though. I love how he gets so mad about people calling him Westbrook or Westbrick.
Westbrick, yeah. Oh, man.
You wouldn't say that to my face.
How do y'all think? How do you think that would play out if LeBron, KD, same team? Too much ego there? I
don't think so. I think LeBron's he's got 2 years of good basketball, and then he said he wants to go play with his son if he gets drafted. So you've got 2 years to bring KD in. You both carry the ball, carry the seasons, and then move.
That's nuts.
If they stay healthy.
I mean, to me, he needs to look at it as LeBron's there for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
When both those guys lock down too, that's like 2 of the best defenders in the league too, and obviously dominant scorers.
Right. Yeah. So if you just got some good role players, some good shooters around them, guys who wanted to play defense to the same capabilities that KD and LeBron, well, not capabilities, but at least the same aggression level, you know? I mean, it could work. It's just, I think that's one thing that we're seeing, especially with what Golden State did this last year. You got to have the depth. The depth is going to be the overwhelming factor when you get to this part of the season or to the playoffs, and especially when you get down to the NBA Finals. We've got to take another break. Any parting words, Max?
No, come on down to Rib Crib next week, 15th.
The 15th, we're opening it up on 15th Street. Let's go, guys. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, it's been a while, but we're going to be talking some NASCAR with Dr. Tom.
Hey, Braves fans. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win weekly prizes from Slim Chicken, Rudy's Barbecue, That Boot Store, Guthrie's, and Rib Crib with Atlanta Braves Trivia. Step 1, open the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Braves Trivia. Step 2, answer trivia about a recent game. Step 3, score some tasty prizes and come home a hero. The Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Listen live on 104.3 in the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms expected this afternoon. A blend of sun and clouds, mid to upper 80s. And it looks like the winds southwest 10 miles per hour. And the water temperature in the Gulf 86. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s overnight. More showers and thunderstorms expected Wednesday and Thursday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult. But that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Live from the Rib Crib studio, doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
Always be sure to listen for the dial tone.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Well, welcome back. You guys are listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Chuck Sowers, Leanne Schwartzentrooper, the coach's daughter. And we've got Dr. Tom on the line with us. Dr. Tom, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing great, David. Hope you guys are.
Yes, sir. We absolutely are. And what a win for your guy, man. You've been pulling for Tyler Reddick now to get his first win, and he finally got it done. The fifth first-time winner this year. Give us a recap of the race, Dr. Tom.
Well, those road course races, I always really enjoy them. And Chase Elliott really had the dominant car for essentially the first two-thirds of the race. And I think what happened is Elliott's car was really good just coming out of this from the start. But Reddick just kept making his car better and better with the help of the crew and the crew chief. And Reddick finally got around him there with, I don't know, what was there, about 12 or 13 laps to go. And I've been saying to you guys for a long time, I thought that kid was going to get a win real soon. He had several. I think other than Chastain, I think he's had the most top 5 finishes of anybody this year. I think Chastain has 9, and I believe he might have 8. Reddick might have 8. But great race. Happy for the Richard Childress team. Very excited the fact we got 13 different winners, which means there's only 3 open spots at this point in time with 8 races to go before the end of the regular season. So it's going to get real competitive here for the next couple of months. Right now you got Harvick and Almirola sitting outside the top 16. And those guys have been in the playoffs essentially every year since they've had playoffs. At least Harvick has. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
How wild would that be, a guy like Kevin Harvick getting left out of the playoffs?
Yeah, it would be rather unusual. I wouldn't have thought so, but he has not had a very good season at all. In fact, in my opinion, the whole Stewart-Haas team, they've all struggled. Other than Chase Briscoe had a win, but the rest of them have struggled. So I don't know what's going on there. It might be just this next-gen car that maybe they just haven't figured it out yet. But many of the other 4 teams seem like they have. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Dr. Tom, kind of touching back on Tyler Reddick, what does that do for the team? Not just the driver, but the team in general when you come away from a road course win, taking on Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, 2 of the best at those type of courses?
Well, you're so right, David, and you're right. That's a great question. And that's a huge confidence builder. Just to get your first win is a confidence builder, but to get it on a road course, when you're really not necessarily known as a road course driver, at least not at this point in time. But he has done well on the road courses certainly this year so far. That team's going to have a tremendous amount of confidence. They know that they're in the playoffs. Now they can They can work with trying to, fine-tune things to make it even better so they're ready for a playoff run. And that kid's got enough talent. He could go deep into the playoffs. We'll have to see.
Yeah. How does that affect the team dynamics? Is Austin Dillon still the number one?
That's a great question. It's Richard Childress' team, and Austin Dillon is Richard's grandson. So, I've always wondered what it was like to be the second team in that garage. But Reddick has actually performed better than Austin Dillon has this year. Reddick was in the points. He already was in the top 16 in points, let alone to get a win. I think he was right outside the top 16 now that I think about it. But you got to wonder. I guess in today's NASCAR world, you'd like to believe that with team cars, they're all pretty equal. There's not a whole lot of difference. They share secrets. Anything they discover in terms of setup and other things that they pretty much share those. And the engines today, all the Chevy engines come from Hendrick. Richard Childress used to build his own engines back in Dale Earnhardt days, but now everybody buys their Chevy motors from the Hendrick stable, so that's equal across the board. So I don't know. Austin Dillon still could easily pull out a win here between now and the end of the regular season. We'll just have to wait and see.
Pressure is on him for sure.
That's right.
You can't drive that 3-car and not make the playoffs.
So you're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking with Dr. Tom. How much movement in the standings do you expect here in these last 7 races?
Well, I would expect it'll be at least one more first-time winner. I'm saying one more winner added into the total picture, meaning that there'll be at least 14 winners, I suspect, before we get to the end of the season. But in theory, with there being 8 races left, we could have the first year where, with a couple more first-time winners for this year, that only maybe 1 or 2 at most people that did not get wins make it into the playoffs. So this gets real competitive. And probably the biggest deal, the final race of the regular season is at Daytona. And that's so unpredictable. It's just like Talladega, because all it takes is one big accident to take 12, 15 cars out of the race, or at least out of contention. So the guys don't want to go into Daytona and not have their playoff hopes sewed up, and because Daytona will be a big time scramble when we get to that point of the season. And we got 2 more road course races between now and then too. We got Watkins Glen, and we got the road course at Indianapolis. So. I love those road course races.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a lot of fun to watch. You get the left and the right turns in the road courses. So, Dr. Tom, do you like the fact that they start and finish the season as far as points races are considered? Do you like that both of those land in Daytona?
Well, the guys were talking about that yesterday on the air, or Sunday on the air, and they kind of felt that it was significant that with the history of Daytona and the history of NASCAR dating back to when it really took off, when they ran on the beach at Daytona, starting in, 57, 58, the Daytona has become, the world center of speed for the NASCAR circuit. So I guess it's nice to see it in there too. The one thing I don't like, since you're talking about the schedule, the fact that they come to Atlanta next week, in the middle of a Sunday afternoon in the middle of July. It used to be I would always go to the races down in Atlanta because it used to be March and November, and the weather was usually always quite nice. But I can't imagine being down there next Sunday afternoon when it's 95 degrees and humid.
No thanks.
Yeah, right.
Is it a night race?
Do you think that they take those
no,
things?
No, it's not. It's a late afternoon race.
Yeah. Don't you think that they should take those things into considerations, not only for the fans, because you want those guys, you want people in the seats, right? But the drivers as well.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody this morning about that exact fact. I'll have to see how the crowd, what the crowd looks like next weekend, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't juggle that schedule for next year and move Atlanta. I'd like to see Atlanta be in the playoff picture in the final 10 races, really, because it's repaved. I mean, they consider it a super speedway. Speeds are fast as can be. The passing's great. And for years, I've been around NASCAR since about '75, and it used to be NASCAR. Or Atlanta was always the final race of the season. It was the championship race. They took that away, some 10 years ago or so. But I'd love to see him go back to have Atlanta at least later in the playoff schedule.
Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Tom, and I know that this is news that was, within the last 2 weeks, but what do you think about Elio going to race in the Daytona 500? He is my favorite IndyCar racer, and I love to see these guys cross over and back and forth, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, Leanne, it's great to hear your voice again. I hadn't heard you in a while.
Thank you. It's good to hear you, too.
I hope you're doing well. Helio, the fans love Helio, and I did not know about him getting a Daytona ride for next year, so I appreciate the news. Yeah. I'll be curious. I'll have to look up and see what team is going to put him on probably as an additional driver in one of the already established teams, I will suspect.
Is this Trackhouse Racing?
Yeah.
There you go.
It goes to
that now that you said.
Yeah.
Trackhouse has been doing great. Look, I mean, that Trackhouse is Reddick and Suarez, and both of them have wins. Reddick now, I'm not Reddick. I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Chastain and Suarez. Chastain already had 2 wins this year. Suarez had a win at Sonoma. For an upstart team, they are really just been phenomenal. So you'd have to think that they'll put a good car underneath his shoulder belt, and we'll just have to see how he does. I mean, he drives IMSA. He's competed at Le Mans, so he's talented to get into any type of race car. He runs in that Tony Stewart series, that SRX series too, and does quite well. So I could see him doing pretty well at Daytona.
Have you heard of the Project 91 with Trackhouse?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so it's basically Trackhouse Racing wants to have a third car for the Helio Castroneves, the Lewis Hamiltons, to say, hey, I want to try NASCAR, and we're going to give you good equipment and take you to a race and see what you can do. But they want to set up this third car essentially where the equipment is decent, because that's usually the problem, right? They get the big name, but the equipment isn't up to par. So they're trying to get a third car for a couple races a year where they can draw some of these big-time Indy drivers, Formula One drivers over to at least experience and try it out and draw some recognition to NASCAR.
Well, I think that sounds great. I'd love to see some of those guys cross over. Whether they come out of the IndyCar series, or they come out of the IMSA series, or they come out of a modified series even, and put some of those talented guys into a car. The only problem I foresee, NASCAR limits the charters to 36 charters. If you own a charter, you're guaranteed a starting spot in every race of the season. Yep. Okay, except for the All-Star race, of course, and the Bud Clash at the beginning of the season. But so at any given point in time, you can only get 4 additional non-charter team cars into a race. And some of the smaller tracks, they don't even get 40 cars. They don't get that final 4. They might get a couple. But at a track like Daytona, there's always a lot of additional cars, and there'll be some of the guys that just won't make the race. 4 or 5 of them won't make the race in those non-charter teams. So that'll be interesting, and certainly Trackhouse. I'd be real comfortable if I was Helio getting a ride out of the Trackhouse stable.
Absolutely.
How big is that for NASCAR, though, because of the explosion that F1 is experiencing right now with the Netflix series and all of that stuff? Do you think that would be huge beyond doubt for NASCAR?
I mean, I think Lewis Hamilton has 25 million Instagram followers. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And putting Helio in a stock car, it used to be, in the old days that I remember, A.J. Foyt would come over and run in many NASCAR races, and Mario came over. He won Daytona. A.J. won Daytona. Johnny Rutherford, Bobby Unser, they all used to cross over a little bit and run some of the NASCAR races. So I'd welcome it. I mean, Helio's got to be, he's one of the 4-time winners in Indianapolis, and the fans absolutely just go crazy over him. So it'll be exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome for the sport, too, of auto racing, and just the fans and the excitement, just changing it up some. So I think it's
put them
great.
in good cars. I think that's the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Put them where they're competitive and give them good equipment. It's going to be good to watch.
No doubt. Dr. Tom, give me your top 3 for Atlanta next week.
Oh, boy. Well, I always think Chase is going to do well at Atlanta. It's his home track. The fans, of course, will go crazy. He has done well there in the past. I'll tell you the guy that might be a sleeper at Atlanta, and they even mentioned it on Sunday, That would be Kevin Harvick. Harvick has had a solid history running Atlanta, and boy, we all know he needs a win. So I'd like to watch him. I think Hamlin will be up there too. So those would be my three that I think of. Oh, you got to include Larson. You can't skip Larson.
Yeah, you can never take that guy out of contention, man. That he surprises me week in and week out. When all odds are stacked against him, still somehow that team finds a way to put him in the running. Dr. Tom, thanks so much for giving us some of your time this afternoon, and we look forward to talking with you next Monday.
Always a pleasure, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks, Dr. Tom.
That is Dr. T. Finally being able to hear Leanne for the first time in a long time. That's always fun, man. Great stuff here. We're going to be back in just a few short moments with Defend Your Stance.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country.
This one's going supersonic.
The season is halfway over, and the Atlanta Braves just 3.5 games outside of first place. Tonight, it's Braves and Cardinals. First pitch at 6:20. Coverage starts at 6 right after the Afternoon Underdogs. On your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast, it's 102.1 and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. That Boot Store invites you to stop by and help celebrate the opportunity to live in the greatest country on God's green earth, the good old USA. That Boot Store is proud to carry the highest quality American-made boots, along with a complete line of Western accessories. Next to Billboard Kia on 15th Street, open Tuesday through Thursday 9 till 5, Friday and Saturday 9 to 5:30. And remember what Joe always says, put Jesus in your life every day.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS & Associates. We represent private insurance providers using multiple nationwide PPO networks for pre-negotiated discounted rates and no co-pays, no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Damsel in Defense presents Defend Your Stance. Got an opinion? Time to defend it. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This segment is Defend Your Stance. It's brought to you by Emerald Coast Damsel, Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense. This weekend, they're going to be in Tallahassee, July 9th and the 10th. That's Caveman Rick, Michelle Nowalinsky. They do a great job, but also keep your family in your thoughts and prayers right now. Satterfield Strong, man. We haven't really gotten into the details or just the story in general on this show, but keep their family in your thoughts and prayers as Brett is going through some things right now. Mm-hmm. But he's looking good.
Yeah, the reports have sounded positive.
Yeah, very positive. I mean, you know, for what's going on, but just make sure that you're keeping the Nowalinsky, all Morts. Of them. Yeah. The Morts. Yeah, actually, it's actually the Morts family. Yeah. I'm going. You know how marriage works, right? It just tangles all the lines. We've got Leanne Sports and Truber in the house today. We've got Chuck Sowers as well. This has been so much fun for me. Thank you so much. Because you were actually supposed to be on the show with us last Thursday. Right. Things came up. You had a
called real estate.
Exactly. Yes. Things always come up. But
it's true.
But it actually, you know what I mean? Like, it was great to have you in today. You got to see Max, and and you wouldn't, like, there was the thought that possibly if you were to come in on Thursday, it would have been like, you might get like 5-10 minutes of me. And
that's exactly what happened. So
was it?
It's probably,
Did we seal the deal?
Yes.
Let's go. I learned, I spent a long time with you. I know better. We just air bump.
That's
air
right.
bump. We don't need a surgery on the other one now.
Not yet.
Let's get into the best conference that's not the Big Ten or the SEC right now, pertaining to the Power 5, which I'm starting to read articles already that is saying Power 2, the Power 2 conferences. No, it's crazy to think that, but
I think it's
happening.
Gonna happen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it needs. Let's go to the question here.
Okay.
Best conference, not Big Ten or the SEC. So that's ACC, Big 12 or Pac-12. Which conference do we think is going to be the strongest moving forward without, guesstimating on any other moves?
I don't think the other three are comparable.
Well, no, yeah, but this is we're talking two different leagues now.
I'll go with the ACC.
ACC.
I think Mario Cristobal going to Miami helps. Florida State, they seem to got a good recruiting class. They still have Clemson. Clemson's still Clemson.
Yeah, true.
Down year, so they typically don't stay down very long with good coaching, good recruiting classes. So I'd go with the ACC.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, saying it like that, that would probably, because I can't pick the other two. I mean, like, in good
too much
faith.
College football living in you right now.
That's what I'm saying. I can't fathom that.
But I think the Pac-12 is going to be gone by the end of the week, honestly.
Oh, end of the week, even though they still got a whole nother year with UCLA.
Well, I'm saying, like, everybody's going to decide where they're going.
Like, it's probably going to be a Big 12, Pac-12 merger type deal.
I think Oregon and Washington go to the Big Ten.
Oh, good.
Or Oregon, Notre Dame.
I think you have to keep Oregon and USC somewhat. You know what I mean? I want to see both of those guys in the same conference. I know it's not the biggest rivalry over there, but still, it's something that's been garnered over the last few years.
Absolutely.
I can't disagree with your take on the ACC, though, because if you look at the prospects of what the Big 12 is going to do, you can make the case for them if Arizona State, Utah, if they join the Big 12, there's that possibility. But right now, where we stand today, you brought up a great point. Mario Cristobal, what he's doing with Miami right now on the recruiting trail, just alone that, which does not translate into wins. I know. We got to get your take on Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, Ole Miss, or not Ole Miss, but Ole Miss winning the college baseball championship.
Thanks.
What? You got to celebrate it so heavily last year with Mississippi State. I still have like echoes of a cowbell in my ear.
Oh, and I have even more now. You wouldn't believe. I've gotten 3 more cowbells added to my collection. I got one, RJ Yeager.
Oh.
It's his own cowbell. It's got his number and everything on it. Yeah.
NIL, man, I love those little small things.
How'd they do this year?
We didn't make it to the SEC tournament, and I think they should change that because I think all teams should have a chance to go, just like basketball, just like anything else. But we didn't.
But all y'all had to do was beat Tennessee at the end of the year, and y'all would have been in. So there was your tournament. Notre Dame did it.
Oh, don't start me about Notre Dame.
Why?
You know how I feel about Notre Dame.
Right, but what about? Were you happy that Notre Dame took down? When there's a team that's
not going to cheer for Notre Dame.
You're right. Okay.
No way.
But Tennessee, and sometimes it was either like a love or hate. You're right.
I was embarrassed to say I was in the same conference.
That's what I'm saying.
They were calling them, they're all classless, and I'm like, well, what's going on? And I caught up with everything. I was like, man, tacky.
You know what though? My honest opinion on that is that I think that those teams are good. You don't want your youngins following that, but I think that it just adds that juice to the game of baseball.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Because we kind of used to be not the high horse, but the dugout was loud. You know what I mean? In high school and stuff, it was like our dugout was going to be loud. If we're losing, we're going to be loud. If we're winning, we're going to be loud. And that's it's not the the pompousness of which they showed themselves. We didn't have any mink coats. I don't think any of us could afford mink coats.
No, I was like, what? Now,
you do realize it's 100 degrees out here.
That's what I said. And then because, I've been there last year, and it was hot. But they said this year was even hotter than it was last year. But we did bananas one year. Everybody's dressed up like bananas. I was like, okay, guys, this is a little too much. But the mink coat, I don't know. But anyway, I was glad for Ole Miss. A lot of my friends that go to Ole Miss, and I have a nephew that has made the choice. He's the first one in our family that's going to Ole Miss.
Oh.
I hadn't talked to him yet, but I will at some point. But after the Egg Bowl, maybe. Anyway.
No talking to the Egg Bowl.
I mean, I was, because our friends that go to Ole Miss or the Ole Miss fans, they were all very supportive of us last year. They really were very classy about it. They were happy for us.
It's the Southern Miss that y'all don't want to see happen.
No, I love Southern Miss. I mean, that's where my mom went to school. My sister went there. I was pulling for them because I thought that would be so cool to have both of those Mississippi teams. But the way I look at it is, if you want to go to Omaha, you got to go through Mississippi first.
Hey, come on. Back-to-back years.
Both schools, first time, national champs.
Nobody says they want to go to Omaha.
What? What?
Nobody says they want to go to Omaha. Unless there's baseball being played.
Yeah, unless there's So my thing is, and we don't have time to talk about it now, but when we get back, why were y'all nowhere close to the shot record from the Jell-O shots? Ole Miss blew you guys out.
You know why? Because that's where you go to school to be a doctor and a lawyer. That's why you have more money.
We got to take a break, guys. We'll be right back in about 2.5.
June 26th, 2017, a radio station was born. For 5 years, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed and still undefeated leader for sports on the Panhandle. Thanks for 5 years of broadcasting history from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms expected this afternoon. A blend of sun and clouds, mid to upper 80s. And it looks like the winds southwest 10 miles per hour. And the water temperature in the Gulf, 86. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s overnight. More showers and thunderstorms expected Wednesday and Thursday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Start your summer adventures in the new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and discover why everyone is talking about the award-winning Kia. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Soul. Cruise in confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Soul that has the perfect balance of comfort, style, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Soul with $2,165 per month per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Quality is limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/22.
Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS & Associates. We represent private insurance providers using multiple nationwide PPO networks for pre-negotiated discounted rates and no co-pays, no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, Howard FC, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Red Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And the feeling coming from my bones says find a home.
We are back, and this is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got the coach's daughter, Leanne Schwartzentruber, in the Rib Crib Radio Room with us. Chuck Sowers, along for the ride as well. I was trying to think of it, like I'm trying to read it off my eyelids right now. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? So with the Big 12, they are in talks to add up to 6 Pac-12 schools in a merger possible with the Pac-12. This segment brought to you by Bay Handyman Services. They listen better, plan better, and build better. Reach them at their office number, 850-753-5014. They have 24/7 emergency services. You can reach them at their website, bayhandymanservices.com. They hold a 5-star rating, and they'll do anything from hanging pictures to full house remodels. 850, I'm telling you this.
I'm writing it down right now.
850-753 5014. Yes, ma'am. They do a great job. Ryan Phillips with Tonka Truck Racing as well. They were there at the Salute to Freedom at the Salute to Freedom parade and just get together yesterday. Destination Panama City was a great time, and he's going to be at Tri-State in Clarksville July 9th, this Saturday, so that should be a great time. I'm going to try to link up with Boston Tim and get out there. But Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado were mentioned specifically, but Washington and Oregon also in consideration for the Big 12. I align with Chuck on this one. I want to see Oregon and Washington stay with USC, UCLA. I want to see them go to the Big 10. What do you guys think about the other 4 though? Arizona State, Utah, Colorado.
What about Washington State?
Well,
where are they going? Are they being absolved? Dissolved?
I know.
What do we think about this?
There is speculation that the Oregon governor is going to step in and try to get Oregon and Oregon State to be tied together. So wherever Oregon goes, Oregon State has to go. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think she has any. Because honestly, it's where does Phil Knight want Oregon to go? That's
right.
The question needs to be answered. When he says go here, they're going to go there, and they're going to take Washington, maybe Colorado, but it's all TV dollars at this point. Who has the biggest market? And Oregon, Washington, those are the 2 big ones right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, this is
it's going to be so weird.
Before we continue on, I've got other questions kind of tied up with this. Do y'all think that this is a good thing or a bad thing for college football? Is it a, a fresh start, if you will, maybe, or is it, heading down the path of destruction?
I don't think it's heading down the path of destruction. That already started with the NIL stuff when they started paying them, and it became a business.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it wasn't before, but across the board now it is. I always like change with things like this and mix things up a bit. I can't honestly answer that without knowing what they're going to do about the playoff system, because that to me is what matters. That personally.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen, because we don't know who's in charge. The Pac-12 commissioner is basically getting dissolved and losing his job, and they need to come up with a president of college football. College football needs to be removed from all other athletics, become their own entity. You have a president, have the commissioners, so we have a point of contact. Because right now, all these teams are talking and going, what is it going to look like? How's it going to work? We don't know.
And NCAA
and we have nobody to ask, because it's these individual commissioners are just stockpiling teams or schools when they're really just teams and getting $1 billion TV deals.
Yeah, it's a business. I mean, it's a total business.
So if we were to have a situation like that, which I do believe that it's definitely en route to that, what happens with the rest of athletics, though? Do they still receive football dollars, even though they're their own entity? Because there's no way that they
can't make it.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to. That's why I say you just move. Maybe they get money. Sure, you're going to get some residual or something. But, honestly, college basketball is probably the next biggest regionally.
Yeah.
UCLA basketball is very well known. They should stay in the Pac-12. Basketball-wise.
Do you think that that's a possibility? Because what I'm hearing is going to be all sports across the board.
Yeah, I think all sports, and I was listening to something before I came in that, Oregon should team up with Kansas, because Kansas basketball brings in money, but Kansas football is a dumpster fire.
Right, yeah.
So, but if you're talking about bringing in regional money, recruiting, and somebody who's going to watch Kansas basketball, that's what you're going after. So you can't look at it as football, you've got to look at it, all right, well, UCLA swimming team. very well known.
Their softball team.
Softball team.
Oh,
Tons
yeah.
of Olympians, and so you can't look at it as just football teams. You have to look at what else they provide.
That's true.
Man, golly.
And with everything with Title IX and all that too, I mean, that's those. We all know. I mean, a lot of those programs, and not all just female or women's programs, but some of the men's programs too, they don't make enough to support themselves. Without those football and the basketball dollars, like for your Kansas and Duke and all those places.
Well, and you're even looking at a different side of it as well now, because if all of these teams are going to the Big Ten, right? That's a big travel expense as well there. So you're going to have those football dollars to keep just the travel alone, because I mean, that's what's so wild to me about it is I like the fact that even, with the SEC, they got Texas A&M and Missouri, didn't make a ton of geographical sense. But
Texas,
now
OU,
we're just, Texas and OU, same thing. I mean, it's kind of merging that way, but then you take a move like this, and it's like, all right, well, don't even think about the map when you're putting these things together now. Yeah. Let's put the best of the best together. Let's have, I think it should be 3. I think you should have 3 conferences. If it's the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the ACC all combining, I don't think that'll happen. I don't think that we're going to get out of this without Florida State, Miami, and Virginia Tech getting to the SEC. I think that needs to happen. I would love to see Clemson. Yeah. Right. I would love to see Clemson get into the SEC. But what would Clemson say about that? You know what I mean? Because it kind of disrupts their path.
Yeah. Davo's an SEC, or originally an SEC guy, but the SEC tried to get Florida State years ago, and Bowden wasn't having it. But that was when they were still independent too. Yeah. They weren't in a conference at all, which is weird to think about that now. Yeah. Except for Notre Dame.
And that's why it goes back to you need a commissioner, a head president of college football operations, whatever you want to call it. That's who we complain to, saying, hey, we have all these things moving. Why do we not have a 10-team playoff?
Yeah.
Set that first.
Exactly. I agree with that. I vote for you.
Yeah.
You can be the president.
Well, you need voices of reason in there first and foremost, right?
And
not guys. Yeah, exactly.
We're just talking about NASCAR and looking at the overall future and not just looking at SEC conference, because we know that at least 2 of their teams are going to be in the playoff every year.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's true.
Right,
historically speaking, that's pretty accurate.
It's been the case. Yeah. And so on top of that, why are we having candidates or people on these committees that are representing these conferences when it should be bigger than that? It should be bigger than a single conference. I know that you're going to have your SEC, your Big Ten guys who are going to vie for that no matter what, like death or, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm riding with the SEC. I'm not that kind of a guy. I want the best for college football. Absolutely. Let me have a 3-team super conference, move everybody down another level. So now you've created a whole nother level of football. Continue to get my problem with that, though, at that point, does it just completely make Division I FCS at that point irrelevant? Because now who gets the big paydays? Is it going to be the Division 1A team? You know what I mean? Like the Cincinnati's, well, they're headed to the Big 12 and stuff, but still, the way we're looking at it right now, Big 10, SEC, everyone else. And I don't mean just talent on the field. Right. I mean the way that the direction that these conferences are headed.
Well, USC just got Lincoln Riley, so that's going to change. They're going to be good. They're already recruiting. And
well, they're Big 10, though. Yeah.
Well, they're not yet. They got 2 years. So
technically,
if he goes and wins this year, but if he is in national championship contention this year, which probably not, but next year,
changes the whole conversation.
And honestly, this is early. These teams can back out of this.
Just like the recruits do.
Yeah, I mean, they can come to their cooler heads will prevail, and TV money, and reading the TV money stats is just mind-blowing. That the last place Big Ten team got $21 million more than the number 1 Pac-12 team.
That just shows you how uneven it is.
And by 2024, that increases to $50 million more. Per team.
So So it's a no-brainer. If you're USC, anybody in the Pac-12 is like, well, I want to go over there.
Yeah.
Then I also read a report today. Not a report. It's not a report. It was an opinion article on, do they need to kind of get rid of everybody getting the same amount of money? Because you got a team like, let's go to the ACC, for example, Clemson, who's been in national championships within the last 10 years. Boston College, though, haven't.
Yeah.
And they've barely had seasons they win 9 games, but yet they're getting the same amount of money. Is that fair? What do you guys think?
They're talking Boise State going to the Pac-12 to replace USC. They get $4 million a year from CBS, and they're going to go to the Pac-12. They're going to start getting $28 million a year.
So that's a step up for them.
Right. So we'll come over.
So step up for UCLA and USC, but also trickle down effect.
Right. So there is trickle down, but there needs. Yeah, I'd like to see a tiered. Like, if you're good, you're going to get money this year. If you're bad, you're not.
Man, if you're the underdogs like me, Mississippi State, no pun intended of the name of the show right now, but we are underdogs, and I don't like that suggestion. Because we will fit.
But you're still getting, what, 12 million, 13, whatever it is,
Ooh, I think
whatever's
SEC,
been at the lower.
They're getting good money over there as well. I think it's very comparable with the Big Ten. But then, like, teams like Vanderbilt, if we are going to revamp this conference, does Vanderbilt even belong in the conference?
See, people have said that to me about Mississippi State, and that really bothers me because we are one of the older. I mean, we're one of the originals.
Yeah.
So we should be grandfathered.
No, y'all should be. It's a totally different fence for me with Mississippi State because, I mean, y'all did just get your first championship in any sport, but outside of being an original, if y'all were on the West, if y'all were in the East, we're talking about totally different records. We're talking about instead of a 2-year extension for Mike Leach, we're talking 5 years, and then not just a $500,000 pay raise, maybe a $2-3 million pay raise.
Right.
So what's the future for Mississippi State? Not the future. What does this year, 2022, look like for Mississippi State? Is it going to be another case of the inconsistencies, though? Because I think that's what we've been seeing. Or will Leach find his guy that can finally run that air raid offense the way that we expect it to be ran?
Oh, we thought he already had twice. I have the same outlook that for the length of time you've known me that I always have.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, literally, that's the way we all feel. Nobody feels bad and nobody feels good. I mean, it's just we just don't know.
But does it make it worse for you guys that Ole Miss, their progression since Lane Kiffin has came in, is, you know what I mean? Like if I'm watching it doesn't.
We've been through these hills and valleys back and forth. It we'll be good for a while and then they'll be good for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just not really. Neither one of us have been standouts.
Finishing 5th in division no matter what. So, peaks and valleys. We're not talking first to last. We're talking mid-pack, bottom.
No, lower middle. Right. Yeah. Or
I don't know. I think y'all got Auburn this year. I think that Auburn's going to take a big step back.
But what
and they
is
didn't
that
have
saying, though? Really?
That you guys are not going to be last in the division.
That's a good thing. That would be good. I would like to not be last. That would be good.
Ole Miss this season is going to be, I think, one to watch. I think, obviously, Arkansas over in the SEC West. It's just been so fun to see what Sam Pittman has done. A guy who's an offensive line coach at Georgia and then comes over to Arkansas and has turned them in.
Help.
Yeah.
I mean, they really needed some fire and a good coach.
Kentucky.
Oh, man.
It's going to be good.
I love those stories, though. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact, like, having beat Florida in how many ever years, and then they get the job done. And I believe they finished their season out with Georgia this year, so that's going to be an interesting one to kind of keep your eyes on as well.
Yeah, Oregon-Georgia's first game of the season.
Yeah.
That's going to be really good.
How?
Well, going back to Vanderbilt, though, I mean, I don't know. You can't just like kick somebody out of your conference, can you?
No, we'll just make another SEC, the SECA. The SEC Academic.
That's the thing. Their baseball team. I mean, they're in Omaha almost every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that is their premier program, but they don't pull in the crowds.
Here's what we'll do. We'll trade the Whistler for 4 more years.
For the cowbell? Yes.
That one's a tough one. What would you rather hear, though?
Bad.
What would you? And this is not a question for Leanne, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck, what annoys you more, the Whistler, which is only for one sport, or the cowbell, which is
for everything?
You got people diving off the diving board.
I've never experienced them live, so.
Oh, well, I can make that happen.
Well, I've experienced it here. I'm saying, like.
Okay. Oh, well, it's way worse.
Oh, I have no doubt. 200,000 fans with cowbells.
I'm going to have to get you to a game.
Yeah. That would be good
I'm
stuff.
up to like 12, I think. I think my collection now is 12.
Oh, 12 cowbells. Wow. When we were talking with R.J. Yeager, we were talking about him in the break, but when we had him on the air with us the last time, I asked him about that question. You know, like when you're up to bat and the cowbells are ringing, you know what I mean? Especially that first one, right? You haven't played in Duty Noble before, and you're kind of just used to solemn or maybe like some cheers and whatnot. But did that distract? He was like, "No, I love it, man."
Yeah.
Like,
he just totally jumped into the culture at Mississippi State. I mean, and everybody loved him. It's just so popular. I wish he had some more years.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. We'll see what the future holds for him. He is going to be holding some camps around here. So is Janoris Robinson, Florida State player that's playing with Minnesota, Purple People Eater now. July 9th, I believe, is his football camp here at Tommy Oliver. So that's going to be a great time. Love these students, or these athletes rather, because they're not students anymore, but these athletes giving back to the community. I think they can understand, because they themselves have been in those shoes at one point in time before, where you're looking up to someone who's currently doing what your dream is. You know what I mean? So they have a huge impact, and maybe they don't know it, maybe they do, but I'm just glad of what they do for our area here. And I mean, look at what we've got going here in Panama City, Bay County with our athletics. Mosley coming off of the championship. Who was it in baseball that just won? It was a big deal. Why am I blanking on it? Bozeman. No, Bozeman. I think they were runner-up. I think they were runner-up in 1A, but
I know they made it all the way.
Still, man, we've had so many champions come through this area as of late, and it's great to see it continue on. And when people invest their time back into it, it just doubles it up, man. I love it. We're going to take another quick break, y'all. We'll be right back. Probably keep it rolling with some more college football talk.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app for the sports fanatic is available at the Apple Store and Google Play. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms expected this afternoon. A blend of sun and clouds, mid to upper 80s. And it looks like the winds southwest 10 miles per hour. And the water temperature in the Gulf 86. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s overnight. More showers and thunderstorms expected Wednesday and Thursday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey, cheesy, crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously. But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Hi, this is Coach James Hale. Keeping your car looking great is easy as 1, 2, 3 at Blue Sky Express Car Wash. By joining their monthly wash club, you'll get the best bang for your buck. In just 2 car washes, your monthly membership pays for itself, starting at only $19.99 a month. What are you waiting for? Become a member today at Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Back Beach Road next to Home Depot. Tell them Coach Hale sent you.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Leanne Swartz and Truber, Chuck Sowers in the building. What is next for Notre Dame? Do you guys where do you want to see, not what you think, we'll get into that as well, or maybe both of those things are similar. What do you think they fit better with the ACC, Big Ten? I mean, is there a chance for the SEC to swoop in and get a underperformer in the college football playoff? I'll keep it at that. What do you think, Chuck?
I think you just need to pick one. Just go to the ACC and just get in a conference. You've been in this independent. It's a dying breed. You're the last one. At some point, you're just, especially if you go to these two superpowers, you're going to have to join one. So you might as well pick one now. Win a conference championship. You become more valuable. You've got the TV deal in place. So that's what I would do.
What do you want to see?
I'm like Chuck. I don't really care where they go. I don't want them in the SEC, but I don't really care where they go. But be 100% in that conference. It's not right. It's no longer. It's like Chuck said. It's an outdated. It's antiquated, and they said it's all about money. But I think if they would stop and then figure out if they were in one of these conferences, how much more they're going to make. I mean, but they're scared.
Oh. Is that what it is? They're scared.
I think so. They don't want to have to play an Alabama, every year, or a Georgia, or Ohio State.
I mean, they picked a basketball conference to play 5 games a year into. So I think that you've got a lot of validity in that thought. Really. I would rather see them go to the Big Ten just because, but it's
fit there.
I think they do, right? But just like what I was saying in the last segment, that kind of stuff's out the window because I'm thinking really
You're
on
thinking
the
logistics,
regionally, exactly. That's what makes sense to me. Well, then you bring USC. You've got Michigan over there. Rivalry-wise, it's just set up perfectly for the big. Who's their rivalry in the ACC? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think they have one. Ever have had one.
No, I don't think that they play the same 5 teams.
Navy
each year.
in the ACC?
No,
they're in the
Those games are always usually competitive for some reason.
Yeah, they are. Those are some of my favorite too. But there's what's it called, Dave? You looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Where's
right
our
now.
fact checker?
It's the American Athletic Conference,
Yes.
which the AAC, which had Cincinnati. They're moving on to the Big 12. But that was if there was like a tier 2 that didn't really mesh in with the rest of the Mountain Wests and stuff like that, the MAC, and this conference was right there. They're the kind of the ACC compared to the other conferences right now. But then you bring up the point that you brought up a few segments ago, two segments ago. The ACC is probably the strongest one out there right now when you incorporate all these moves that we're making right now. Yeah. And Texas, Oklahoma now. I mean,
what do you think about the Arch Manning?
Oh, well, let's get into that. I really thought that for some reason, I thought Ole Miss was going to be there.
Oh, yeah, so did Ole Miss.
Yes, yeah.
You talk about being upset. They're very upset.
Very upset about that one.
It's bad enough, when Peyton didn't go, but now, yeah.
But I kind of like that he's making his own way.
I do, too.
And he's going to have to battle for it with Quinn Ewers, depending on what happens this year with Quinn Ewers.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But so much money involved in that state that and then I tell myself, well, I don't think he's getting money no matter where he goes, right?
Yeah,
just off of that last name in general, he's going to get great money.
And it's early. He can change his mind.
Well,
if that kid plays well this year and they do very well, it's, is he willing to sit out a year? We don't know how good Arch Manning. I don't know if he's in the best conference in high school.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly all the analysts say he's better than all of the other ones in the family.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because Cooper, and Archie has said that Cooper was a better football player than Peyton and Eli. He has said that publicly. But this is Cooper's son.
Well, that's because he's.
I know, but
he doesn't have any Super Bowl rings, so he's got to give him something.
Hey, you know what? He didn't have anybody around him at the Saints. Those in the Aints, they were wearing the bags on their head, and poor Archie was just getting beaten alive.
I was talking about Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh,
but Archie too.
Well,
synonymous.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just don't want to have to play Texas either.
Well,
that's what's so crazy because Steve Sarkisian may not even be there. if they have a down year,
that's true.
I brought this up on the show. I believe it was Friday. I was like, well, what if Quinn if Texas is in the college football playoff next year, which
and
would be
kid's
opposite.
already was highly recruited, and it's not just some kid off the block. He's highly recruited to Ohio State, comes to Texas.
Yeah.
He could be very good.
And then you got on the flip side of that, though. So Quinn has a great year. They make it to the college football playoff, which is something Texas hasn't done. But then you're talking about since that kid has signed his John Hancock on that dotted line, they've gotten 8 recruits, and that was last week. So I haven't even looked at the update. You know what I mean? So
something
there's
like that can change everything.
Exactly. So wow. And then I've also read reports where, again, not a report, more of an opinion, where there's some other guys in this top 5 of the quarterback class that might be better than what Arch is, but that name just carries so much weight.
I mean, he just gets extra points right off the bat for that.
Those Texas jerseys with Manning on the back already flying off the shelf, I'm sure.
And the Mannings don't have a championship combined. Did Arch ever win one with Ole Miss? Yeah, no.
They came very close, but I mean, he played with I think it was a broken collarbone or something.
Tennessee couldn't beat the Gators. They couldn't beat Spurrier.
So what would that mean for the Manning family if he were to get it done in Texas? But I just don't know because all of the coaches that come out of that Nick Saban coaching tree, it's not like every one of them just pans out and works out great. It's not how it happens. And so my question is, do you think Steve Sarkisian's got it in him? He had the keys to the bus at USC.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it done there.
Yeah, he also had some
issues that he was dealing with. Yes.
So hopefully he's worked through those. But yeah, I think him and Lane Kiffin both would, if they would have picked either one, it's a good spot. As far as quarterback, offensive gurus. But it's just, RC has not played a college game yet.
Yeah.
And, they're basically saying Texas win a national championship. At some point when he gets there, they're going to win one. And it's just a recipe for disaster. For a young kid.
There's that pressure again.
NIL money, he's going to get, $5 million probably? I mean, kid from Alabama got $1 million.
Before he took a snap as a starter. That's what a lot of people kind of get lost on because he had played a year behind Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Then he gets the $1 million, but because people had seen what he's capable of. But then you got kid at Miami, the quarterback coming in, $9.5. I think they're saying $9.5 million to play for at my. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of money around there, but y'all can't even fill a stadium.
Or does Arch start that process of I'm going to be selective and not take as much money as I could, be selective of who represents me or who I'm sponsoring, and just dial it back. They're pretty reserved, Manning family. They are very calculated in what they do, very quiet. So, it'll be interesting to see how he plays out.
I think that would be the route that he goes, just because not only having great people in your corner to teach you how to be a pro, not just a professional college athlete. And there's some of these guys who actually need this money now, especially to get it back to moms and pops and try to put them in a better position. And then there's others who it's basically side money for them. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to think, but it is what it is. So that's where the trouble can be. I think it's a great thing, but how do you guys feel about this? Because I've heard people in the media say, now that these kids are making more money, the media will probably tend to be more tough on them because, you're not getting paid like a college athlete who's just getting stipends and, some lunch money and all that stuff. You're making more than that kid that I was just talking about from Miami, making more than Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? That's where, all right, it's senseless. Like that doesn't make sense. There's got to be some incentive to earn this money.
I think it was Deion Sanders talked about that. He's got staff that handles that, talking about the pressure of you just signed a $9 million NIL deal, and you better be ready because these writers don't care. If you get that money, you better expect. They have expectations. The city has expectations. The alumni have expectations. And you got this deal of $9.5 million. That's on you.
Yeah.
You don't. Oh, the line didn't play well. Sorry.
See,
you don't care.
You don't get that excuse.
In the NFL, they expect that, but they all have coaching on how to handle those situations. And
that's 18 years old. A lot of these kids have never seen money. A lot of people never ever see in their lifetime.
Right.
and suddenly they're the keeper of that, and there's performance that's expected because of it. That's got to be tough. I didn't.
It's so hard to really wrap your head around that. But you go into the world of acting or musicians, artists, all those kind of things, and how many times do we see these youngins, they get that taste of money, and then next thing you know, you're watching a documentary on, like, what went wrong.
Right,
yeah, where are they now?
They were going broke, but they were 21, 22,
Right.
getting millions of dollars. Now we've lowered that to 18.
Which I think is going to make it even worse. It's going to make it harder.
Well, because it's not going to stop there either, though. It's not
Right.
going to stop at college. It's when it's going to get really bad. It's already trickling into high school. But think about when a sixth grader comes home. Mom, the Kansas City Chiefs told the Miami Hurricanes to come out, and it doesn't work like that because you're not going to have a lot of professional franchises mingling with it. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction that it ends up heading. I don't think that it's great. I think that it's like I was saying, it's a good opportunity to help certain, players who just will never see that kind of money. Right. But then there's the other side of it, right? They're giving you money to be a product, to be a face on the field for them. What happens game 2? You break your tear your ACL.
What if Arch Manning becomes like a Tom Brady, says, "Hey, do not give me the 9 or 20 million. You get this kid 9.5. I'm probably worth 15. Give me $1 million and give the rest to these recruits."
That's highly
and now
possible.
Now they're professional athletes. He's dictating, "Hey, give me less money.
Mm-hmm.
I have money. My parents are well off, so give this to these other recruits. Get them to Texas, and let's go win a championship."
And then what happens outside of that, right? Because now you're getting in the locker room, and these guys are just like, "Dude, this is my favorite guy in the world. Like, I love you, Dad, but this is my role model right here. He just gave me $6 million." You know what I mean? And so it would help that. But then at what point does it stop, right? Because let's say that it goes to skill receiver or to skill positions. Now the hog molly is the guys who are actually protecting you, keeping you from tearing your ACL and
that's
whatnot.
who you need to be giving your money to.
Right, though. I mean,
that's what they do in the pros. I
Mhm.
mean, all successful quarterbacks. I mean, I love every year at Christmas to hear what they buy for their offensive linemen.
Yeah, but then see, he brought up such a great point in Tom Brady because Tom Brady has done that continuously in effort to win.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you take a guy like Patrick Mahomes who has got the $500 million, right? Well, not all at one time, but he's got the $500 million deal. Longevity speaking, though, he's only going to look as good as his team looks. So how do you
due for a down year? They're going to be terrible this year.
Oh, who do you have winning the AFC West? Just that division, because that's going to be a tough one.
I think you're looking at Chargers or Broncos.
I'm right there with the Chargers. I believe Russell Wilson for the first 5 or 6 weeks, and then after that, it's just like
I'm a Broncos fan, so I do think Broncos will contend. I think the Chiefs, they're going to be down this year. I think you take away a Hill and all, I just think you rise so high, and then you're due for a down year.
Yeah,
and they'll struggle a little bit.
I agree with that heavily. I do. I mean, there's a side of me that wants to see Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos, like do good. It's just you take the Broncos, you take the Seahawks. Both of them had identical records at 7-10 last year. Now I would say that the defense is better in Denver. The whole team is better in Denver. So does he push the needle that far? I agree that he can. My thing is now, well, he's used to playing in a tough division in the NFC West.
Absolutely,
so
I think he's built for it.
Yeah.
It's a good challenge for him. He's got talking about pressure. I mean,
he's in a pressure
big
cooker.
Trade, yeah. And that's the NFL. Denver, we're not settling for sure.
Who's our favorite for the Super Bowl? Just the game this year. We're going to get into that when we get back. Favorites for the Super Bowl. Probably get back to some college football. It's been great. We've got Leanne Schwartzentruber, Chuck Sowers. I'm David Hayes. We'll be right back. Y'all stick with us.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and staff meteorologist Tim Root for up-to-the-minute weather reports all day long.
Moving northwestward into the Gulf of Mexico by the weekend.
In-depth storm coverage.
Gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Earthworks of Northwest Florida knows it's a perfect time for you to update your home. Whether it's routine touch-ups or a new look, Earthworks has just what you need. Sand, stone, mulch, and gravel, pickup or delivery. Visit earthworks.com and request a quote. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Love the land you live on. Earthworks of Northwest Florida, 2005 Industrial Drive.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Wonder why Americans motor on the right-hand side of the road while the English drive on the left? It goes a long way back, but we can thank the French for our right-of-way. I'll tell you why when we come back.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
The keep left mentality originated from historic self-preservation. Traveling on the left side of the dusty road gave a horseman's right hand a clear arc for swinging a sword, making defending himself easier. Then along came Napoleon. Since he was left-handed, he changed the system to keep right, based on the same sword-wielding principle. Naturally, any country under French rule also changed, and the U.S. followed suit when we declared independence from Great Britain. As the old saying goes, if everything's coming your way, you're either in the wrong lane or you're in England. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs, broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Engage. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You guys are listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. 850-215-6290 is the number to text or call. Let's go to, you had some more that you wanted to get into in Miami and Coach Cristobal and what he's creating down there.
Yeah, I mean, I kept hearing people talk about he's changing the culture, or trying to change the culture, which is something that even Manny Diaz couldn't do, and he was from there. You know, that was his home. But, Chuck, I want you to share what you were talking about with the spring game, just as an example.
Yeah, just a bunch of the old players. Ed Reed, Bryant McKinney. Who else did I see there?
You said Michael Irvin, I think.
Michael Irvin was there. So it's good to see the old...
The bad boys of the 90s.
The guys who built that. I mean, they were there in the 80s, 90s, and 2000, early 2000s. They built that and had pride in the U and sharing not only their pride of the U, but those are Hall of Famers. Every single one of them I just mentioned are Hall of Famers. And not only in college, but pros. So
I wonder how the college athletes who are egotistical and, you know, think that they are the next best thing since sliced bread, and, you know, they've got a guy like Ed Reed in front of them. Do they take in that information, or do they fight back? You know what I mean? Like, how would you...
talking about, like, the young attitude?
Yeah, exactly. The guys with a little bit of an edge to them, which sometimes, especially if you're playing defense, you need that edge, but you've got to be a vessel of information, right? You got to take stuff in.
yeah, I think, well, Ed Reed has clout. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got rings on college and pros. So I think just walking in there, if you're not going to listen to him, you're probably not going to listen to anybody.
Right, right. But you know what? Those guys, when they played that, and with, you know, the nickname Bad Boys, I mean, they had that attitude.
Yeah.
Remember, because everybody else in the country, and that 30 for 30 is a really good one, too.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, oh, these guys are ruthless, and they're just, you know, they didn't have a good connotation. But it worked for them.
And sometimes that's a part of the recipe, you know, because we talk all the time, especially when it comes football season. Culture and chemistry is a part of every single sport, and it's a statistic, or it's a thing that you just can't quantify. You don't know how to measure success or chemistry, culture, all of that stuff, but you need it. It's absolutely impossible to win without those things. And so you look at the culture that they're building there. I mean, should the rest of the college football world kind of be on notice? with what's going on in Miami. Not just what Mario Cristobal's doing. The NIL down there is, I mean, they said the Gators collective is trash. This is according to, the whole Rashonda quarterback thing. But he went with Miami.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think we still need a season. We need to see it on the field first.
Yeah.
I mean, all this is great. We're talking about all the old timers are coming back, but they need to put it on the field first. And when Miami does, and maybe they get to the top 6 and stay there.
Yeah, that's
going to be that's when it's going to be fun. And, and that's when you just build that culture, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, love it.
You talk about teams that get talked about a lot, but don't really prove it on the field. Texas A&M,
Florida State.
I can't jump on my Florida State fans right now because I feel so bad for them in the last little bit. But this has got to be the year, right? Like I need 8 wins out of you. I need 8 wins out of you, Florida State.
They were looking better, but I mean, if they got good recruits, is the phone ringing? Yep. I knew that's what's going to happen. That's all I went, ooh.
Let's hear it.
I always love hearing the response.
But I mean, Florida State, they're down. Like even Michigan, they've had one good year. They finally beat Ohio State in a decade.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not that good. I mean, they've built a culture, but
keeping it real though. You're keeping it real.
They've had one good year.
Yeah.
And made the college playoffs. So I just same with Florida State. They start winning, and then let's get.
I have a feeling we're going to be getting a call from Michigan Eddie, but first we got Mr. Richard on the line. Mr. Richard, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, well, everybody knows Miami is just buying players. Yeah, Mario is a good recruiter, but it helps a lot to have a billionaire writing checks, and that's what's happening down there. And these players have been around. Maybe Manny didn't bring them into. He had some down there on the sidelines, but NIL's changed the whole game, and they've got a billionaire. Is what it comes down to.
And that's a great point. But when we look at kind of, let's look at a lot of the.
So does Alabama.
I mean, you go that way, but just in general in sports, go to the Rams in their Super Bowl last year. I mean, it's kind of a proven fact that buying players can get you there, but you got to buy the right players. Right. And I hate that I'm using the word buy in here, but we all know what's going on.
Happening,
in the NFL, there's a salary cap, and you have to use judgment on who you're paying what to. In college football, it's a wild west right now, and I haven't heard that Alabama's got a billionaire with a B writing checks who's willing to spend his money, and that's what Miami's doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Do you think it'll work out for them in their favor? Do you think that this will translate into some wins in the athletic department, but more specifically on the football field?
Well, they've got an easy schedule, more or less, right now. Besides, they don't play Clemson until the new schedule comes out in a couple of years. So they really have a pretty easy schedule. And if they don't win 10 wins, now, a lot of these new players are going to be freshmen and are not going to play this first year. It's Mario's first year. He's got new coordinators. We'll see how it plays out this year. If he can hold it together for a couple of years and keep getting these kind of recruiting classes, and his best friend who's writing all these checks is willing to keep doing it, it could all turn around for him.
Richard, let me ask you one more thing before we got to go to a break here. You're a Florida State fan, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. All right. So if y'all were to make the move, and this is total speculation here, but if y'all were to make the move to the SEC, would you prefer Miami come with or stay away? That way we've got all 3 of the big-time Florida schools in the same conference, or would you rather them go to another conference if that was a possibility?
I think it really doesn't matter, truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the SEC may not want Miami, but really they're the big team. The one thing Miami's got, they got a lot more TV sets in Dade, Broward County, Palm Beach County than we have for all North Florida. So that I think they would take them. I've heard one podcast this past week that by bringing in UCLA and USC to the Big Ten, they raised the amount that they could charge their cable providers in California from like 10 cents to $1.50 each.
Whoa.
And that's the thing that's driving that in that term. And actually, that was what drove it back when the Maryland and Rutgers, they pulled in the D.C. Baltimore market and they pulled in the New York City market, where and the TV deal went up accordingly. There's a lot we don't know unless the numbers, but that's just an incredible number, and that's why the Big Ten is making more money per team than even the SEC right now.
Good stuff, Mr. Richard. Thank you for laying it on us, man. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. I do have a little bit of a gripe with that, not with what Mr. Richard was saying right there, because that was all spot on. But we hear of all of these cut the cable, you know what I mean? Get rid of that. And now, now that gives all these streaming platforms a method to pillage our pockets. Exactly. I mean, for real, think about it. If you go in and you really look at your bank statements that you utilize to pay your monthlies on, and you're like, Netflix, Hulu, oh, I got an HBO Max, oh, I got to pay ESPN Plus, oh. Now you're spending about $200 a month on streaming services just to get away from the cable companies. It's so wild how they break us down and we listen to it. You know what I mean? Like it's like, all right. That's just a little bit of a gripe. Mr. Richard, thanks so much for the call. We got to take another break. We'll be back with our local segment. Make sure that you stay tuned in here because this is a wild, wild story.
.4.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country.
This one's going supersonic.
The season is halfway over, and the Atlanta Braves just 3.5 games outside of first place. Tonight, it's Braves and Cardinals. First pitch at 6:20. Coverage starts at 6 right after the Afternoon Underdogs. On your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast, it's 102.1 and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Did you know that we have a master jeweler right here in the store? That's right, he has over 30 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within 2 business days, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into new settings and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 45 years.
Since 1955, Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market has been providing their customers with the freshest seafood in Panama City. Whether you're cooking something small or hosting a big get-together, Buddy Gandy's has you covered with a variety of fish, oysters, shrimp, crab legs, live blue crabs, a steam bar, and more. They'll even clean your catch for you. Open 7 days a week near the intersection of Beck Avenue and Highway 98. Don't forget to mention 104.3 ESPN for your 10% discount. Visit Buddy Gandy Seafood Market on Facebook.
I'm Matt Glover with Aero Pest Service, and we are your family-owned and operated pest control company in Bay County since 1977. We can help you have a lawn that you can enjoy with your family. We can get rid of all the insects that destroy your parties. We can get rid of the weeds that give you anxiety, and we can fertilize your lawn and make sure that it's completely green and healthy, just the way you like it. Give us a call today at Aero Pest Service, 850-874-1900.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
Danger's my middle name.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs, inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. We're inside the Rib Crib Radio Room, and we, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, are home of the defending World Series champions, the Atlanta Braves. Big win last night against the Cardinals with a 6-3 win after a, 2-hour and 37-minute rain delay. But we're back tonight in Atlanta. Ian Anderson on the bump for the Bravos tonight, and we've got your chance to win the 5-year fly away. We're celebrating 5 years of broadcasting history with your chance to win a trip of a lifetime. One bona fide local ESPN Northwest Florida listener and a guest will win 2 seats to a Braves game, 2 round-trip flights, a hotel, and an Uber card, and some spending cash as well. I mean, that's just, yeah, right? I mean, what in the world's going on behind the scenes over here? Because these are some good seats that they're giving away as well. So starting Monday, July 11th, listen weekdays, 8:15 in the morning with Coach Hill and 5:15 in the afternoon with the Afternoon Underdogs. Be caller number 5 when we tell you to win a prize pack and go into the grand prize drawing. The Atlanta Braves coverage starts tonight at 6 o'clock. First pitch at 6:20. We've got Team MVP, powered by EXP, in the hizzy today with us. So tell us about some things that you guys got going on, Leanne.
Oh, the real estate market is just as hot as it is outside, I'll tell you that. and you have to sweat through both. So, but we are 7 members strong now. Team MVP is, and things are going really well. We've got some people that are brand new to real estate, and they're doing great. But it's almost the same story, but when I left last time.
Right.
Low inventory. A lot of buyers, but it's starting to level out a little bit. Interest rates went up, but there's still plenty of people looking for housing. So if you are on the fence about selling, sellers are getting some pretty almost unreal
like
top
NIL
dollars.
deals?
Yeah. And it's like, who's writing these checks? You know, people are waiving appraisals and inspections and all kinds of things. So it's important that you have an agent that knows what they're doing.
Yes.
And that positions you in the best place you can be, whether it's to sell your home and get that max dollar or to get your buyer in there to win that bid. But Chuck, why don't you real quick, your addresses, you got a couple listing. Well, one just went under contract.
Yep. 100 Amherst Way. It's on the west end of the beach. It's a 3-2, just under 1,600 square foot. It's got a pool, great location.
And what's the list price?
$555.
See what I mean? Yeah.
Got a Hathaway townhouse as well, $375.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice little community. It is.
And I can speak firsthand for Team MVP because you guys helped me sell my grandparents' house. Help my grandparents sell their house. They're now living down in Middleburg. A little sad, bittersweet, but still, no, you guys did a great job. And just like along the way, even with some of the, like, these guys know how to navigate family drama.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know. So that's what I'm saying. They're pros, and they will do you right. No doubt about it. Let's get into a really cool story that I read today. A charter fishing crew, a little reaction from them to saving a man who is a captain, a charter captain, and you just never know how those seas are going to be. You know what I mean? So he falls off overboard of the, the Fiona Leone.
All right. He was on autopilot.
Yeah, he was on autopilot, right? Which is just, man, this is just so crazy. So a team of junior hockey players from Nashville and their pops, they were on a charter fishing tour with a New Beginning. That was early Sunday morning when they spotted something strange. And it happened to be a human being. That's what they pulled up. There was like, I saw what I thought to be something in the water. It was a human. Could you imagine?
No,
it's kind of, still like the sun's just making its break, and then you see a guy, and you're like, all right, this ain't right. I ain't seen a boat in like 45 minutes now. You know what I mean? Wow. And this is because, Chuck, for ladies and gentlemen who are listening right now, is U.S. Coast Guard himself, and that's who came. He retired, but still.
20 years.
I treat it the same way as, I just treat all military like Marines. You know what I mean? Like, there's no ex-Marine. You just are what you are. Is it different in the Coast Guard?
No.
Same exact thing. That's plus I still hear a lot of stories about you from people who have been with you along the way. But they he notified the Coast Guard about 4 a.m. that he fell overboard. Actually, no, it wasn't him. It was a crew member that did that. And man, 7 a.m. he gets found. So he got up on the boat with these guys on the New Beginning, and they were saying he wasn't out of breath. It didn't seem like he had been swimming for that long. Is that just adrenaline, or what is that, Chuck? We only got about a minute and 15
That's
here.
probably just, he didn't panic.
Wow.
Just keep your breath under control. Just float out there and just wait. And, I couldn't imagine it's the sun coming up and you're looking on the horizon for any type of life that doesn't have a fin. That'd be a scary situation for sure.
I just can't believe he wanted to go fishing with them.
That's what. So is that like protocol for the Coast Guard? If they get a call about someone, like if we find you, you're coming with us.
Yeah, if they send a emergency signal out, yes,
Right.
they'll alert all the vessels that are out on the water, saying, "Hey, be on the lookout. Last seen at this location." You're supposed to render help if you're in that area, or at least be on the lookout. Typically, what happens, and the Coast Guard will launch a helicopter if needed, definitely a boat, and they'll go from the last known position and just do grid search coordinates to try to find them. And they know the tides, they know the currents. So that's.
And my man just wanted to fish.
Oh, no, that's all he cared about.
It's just crazy. We get harassed all the time for doing safety inspections, and obviously he didn't have a kill switch, or his crew members didn't know what he was doing.
See, that's yeah.
So he should have had the little band around his wrist.
I don't know what kind of vessel it was.
Yeah, that's true.
But
to be out that far, though, right?
It was a charter boat.
Yeah, so crew members should have been there. Somebody else should have been there.
Mm-hmm. But that's what we have the Coast Guard for to save the day time and time again. We appreciate all that you guys have done. I'm way past time here, but
I've been helped
Leanne,
out before.
thanks so much for dropping by. Always a fun time. We got to keep this going. Chuck, always welcome around here. I'm like 20 seconds beyond, but it is what it is. We'll get you to the Braves game.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your radio home for live and local sports coverage. For the most high school and college sports from right here in our local area, it's the Coach James Hale Show, weekday mornings 7 till 9. Then the ride home is alive and kicking with the Afternoon Underdogs, covering the gamut of sports. Plus, the radio home for the defending world champion Atlanta Braves.
Hit the wall.